All right, I think we are live. Just messed it up last time. Apparently, if you start in portrait mode, you can't switch to landscape. So sorry about that. If you are watching, if you're here, sweet. Yeah, take two. I don't know what I'm doing. It's my first YouTube live, so but it's kind of nice that it'll hopefully just upload it to YouTube. I probably can get the videos out of Facebook, doing a Facebook live, and then get it in there if we needed to. So, but yeah, here we are. Twiddle our thumbs, wait for some people to get here. It is a hot, sweaty day in Vermont, despite being rainy, so we gotta stay cool. This is from Burlington Beer Company. While we're waiting for some people to show up, Imperial Honey IPA, aged on yellow birch. That's right, she's 9%. It's called the Beekeeper. These guys have some really cool designs and logos, really cool beer. They get into some really good flavors, so. But it's a tall boy, 16 ounces, and I don't know if that's a tall boy, but it's more than 12, it's 9%, so all you need is one, so. Yeah, well, 112. Isn't that a biggie line? Go to room 112, tell them Knuckles sent you. Anyway, we're going to unbox this, maybe wait for a couple more people to show up. So I kind of teased this a little bit, but I took one of my little foam cases, teased you a little bit more, glued some foam pieces from in here, just to organize all my bearings. And we're doing a lot of bearing testing. We're getting more and more results. Trying to figure out, mainly spin time. The feel is one thing, but seeing what sort of spin times we get, what cleaning methods work, and the more I do, the more the results aren't quite consistent enough where I feel like, hey, let me tell everybody what's going on. I keep teasing I'm going to do this, but it's just every time I do something, it's like, oh, well, that just negates the other results that I got. So we'll see. I did get one of these from Hack over at Flavor Zone Essentials. These were the ones he ordered that were supposed to have the 188 bearings in them, and they didn't, although at least the one that I got, I think there was some issues. It does have an R188, but it's the same R188 that comes in the Focus, which Randy just mentioned he's getting. So it's the same bearing that's in here, which is an R188 style, but it's shorter, it's thinner. The one that's in here is also, I believe, it's definitely shielded. I believe it's lubed, but I'm not 100% sure. And yeah, pretty good. Pretty good little spinner. I think we got close to 8 minutes when I switched in the bearing from the Focus. Again, this is the Focus that I fixed and sanded down, right? Someone was asking about this. Let's talk about this here real quick as well. How did you fix it, right? So if you hold a bearing, whoops, sorry about that camera. Let's grab, I don't know which one's the least balanced of these. Let's try this one. So if you hold this up, see how one arm kind of always wants to go to the bottom. So this arm seems like it always wants to go to the bottom. So if I put that arm up and I let go, that should fall to the bottom. So that lets me know that this arm, for one reason or another, has slightly more weight. Either the arm itself is heavier or the hole is off-centered, who knows. But once you know where the weight is, regardless of if it's the hole is off-centered or the arm has more weight, the solution is still the same, and that is to remove some weight. So again, we just sanded these corners down until when I held it vertically like this, it stayed pretty close to balance. So this one still isn't perfect, but it's a lot better than it was, and you really can't tell when you're spinning it. It still feels pretty smooth. You don't feel that wobble, but the more off weight it is, the more you're going to feel that wobble. And then this is the replacement that he sent me, right? So I know I've talked about it, but. So the Focus is sweet. Saw Fabian got his, so see what he thinks about it. So, yeah, when it first topped on, I was spinning slowly and was like, is this a warp? Yeah, it's thick, it's nice. I really like it. Oops, I didn't really get a good spin there. Anyway, so we're 4 minutes in. Let's do some unboxing. So let's put you away. I don't know where I'm going to put this thing in here. Oh, let's show this off here real quick. I've teased this a little bit. Right, I sanded this thing down with a Dremel and then some hand sanding to get some polish. It's starting to get some patina and fingerprints. I didn't really clean it, but and it's still pretty balanced. I mean, I didn't weigh this at all or really test this balance when I was sanding it down, so it's a little uneven there. It's got a lot of weight. You can see that it's swinging quite a bit, but when you spin it, gets about pretty much exactly 8 minutes on a tablespin, but it feels pretty solid. And when it warps, you can see how pretty even it is. So my cuts were, again, this is 100% by eye, but not too bad. So it also looks more like a hammer. I think what I'm going to do, Mark Mullins has a That came in. Mark Mullins is doing some force patina stuff, and he put some nail polish on it. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is do the opposite, where I'm going to take some ammonia on like a brush and just brush on the word band hammer, because it kind of looks like a hammer. So we've got something for Bill to swing his band hammer at. So over in the Daily Fidget. Let's put that away. All right, let's unbox. I'm excited about this. I didn't think it was coming today. I didn't think it was supposed to be coming until next Wednesday. So then this, all of a sudden I got an email that this was delivered. So let's see what it is. First look. Hammer of God. Oh, sweet. Comes in a nice little pouch. What? All right. Oh, never mind. I thought it was a sticker. It is a cool little card. Is it plastic? It is. It's plastic. So maybe we'll just glue that on. It doesn't need to be a sticker to glue it on, right? I got these things from my 10-drop or 1-drop 10-ball bearings. They came in the little bag with the bearings. Just glued them on there. They look nice. All right. Not showing you what I paid for it because I don't know if that sale's still going, and y'all be sad to know how much money I got off on it. So enough teasing. It's sort of like, ooh, daddy. All right. Ta-da! Oh, what's this? Is this a little bearing removal tool? It's pretty sweet. Let's open up our accessories. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Maybe we'll see. Probably a bearing removal tool. Looks a little long to be one, but... All right, so she's heavy. She is heavy. Buttons are a little loose. That's okay. Hammer of God. Mother of God. Anybody watch Super Troopers? Jeez Louise. So she's got some good weight. Let's feel those corners. You want to see it spin? You want to see it spin? 7 minutes in, you want to see it spin. Ooh, she's smooth. Wow. That is smooth. Sorry, I have shaky hands. Wow, that's really smooth. Holy crap. What is in here? I'm probably talking too quiet. I wonder if I can turn the volume up. I normally turn the volume up in my videos before I upload them, so this is probably going to be a quieter volume video. Let's see if that works. Oh, it's like perfect. Yep, so that's obviously what that is. I think they said it's a hybrid ceramic in there. It kind of looks like, I'm trying to hold it for you guys to see it, but I can't see it quite as good. Looks like those might be little black balls in there. Hang on, I'm going to go off frame for a second here. I'll let you guys just look at it. It's so hard to tell with the shielding in there, but I'm pretty sure those are little black balls, which are silicone nitrite, I believe. So that's pretty smooth. Most of the time I'm used to ceramics having a little bit of a, they kind of feel hard, like they're harder balls in there. So there's something about the way that spins and the way it rings, even when it's smooth, there's like a hardness to it, and I'm not getting that with this. Hammer of God. Buttons, come back. Smooth. Yeah, that's really smooth, y'all. And I'm surprised, like those chamfers aren't very large and they look pretty sharp, but no hot spots. You know, no hot spots initially, right? I've spun this for, you know, less than 2 minutes now. Let's just have a sip, shall we? Have a sip. Pretty good, and all that weight's on the outside, so feels really good. What's on my finger? Sticker from something? Probably opening the package. I got that on there. All right. Yeah, she's a good spinner, yeah. You know, I initially wasn't going to go for it. I've been getting a lot of spinners, and I'm actually thinking about trying to thin out my collection a bit and really just kind of stick with, not necessarily high-end ones, but ones that are special to me. So if we look in the box, right, you know, this was my first spinner that I reviewed, and the first, like, legit, I don't know if legit's the right word, but yeah, we'll call it legit. First legit spinner that I got one, sent it back, and this was the first one. I did a lot of researching before I picked this guy up. This is the original bearing that's in it, and it's really smooth. So this guy's kind of special. This was my first force patina. You know which one I am really thinking about selling is this. I got this on a pretty good deal, so I'd like to pass that on. If anybody really wants this, let me know. Yeah, it's a must keep, especially when it's your first one, right? Your first spinner. And visible mode. What up? I finally got in touch with you. For those that don't know, he was the first winner of the drawing that I did, and then had a hard time getting a hold of him, and his notifications weren't going off, and then I did another redraw, and then heard from him, and just got it mailed out, and he's over in the Daily Fidget, so that's good. But yeah, so this one is a $200 spinner. I got it for 30% off, so I got it for like $140 plus some change shipped. So I'd be willing to let it go, especially in the Daily Fidget for you know, 150, 160 shipped, depending on where I'm shipping it to. It is a really nice spinner. It is really quality. There's just something about it where I think with everything else that I got and the stuff that I've got coming, I don't know if I want to keep it for as much as it costs. It is fantastic. I don't want to try to oversell it because I'm trying to potentially get rid of it, but I don't want to undersell it either. It is a really nice spinner. It's really smooth. It's really fidgetable. That weight on the outside, it's really got good weight. It's good at flicking. It's good at pulling. Just with everything else that I got, I don't know if it has a space in there. So I'm also really looking at getting a Thrax, Trithrax. And I think if I can get in on that drop, you know, me and my luck on drops, which is right now 100% 4 for 4. I don't know if it's expected to sell out really quick, but I'd like to compare and contrast the Thrax with this, but then probably get rid of this. From what I've seen, I get the feeling I'm really going to like the Thrax. And then, you know, this has got a nice custom polish job, and it's starting to get a little patina, so if I do end up giving this away or selling it, I can repolish it back up or do a forced patina for someone if they want. These two, I kind of like having the set. But I don't know, you know, with everything else that I got, again, I don't know if it's special enough just to stay. So I won this in a waffle, so I definitely wouldn't sell this. It would be a giveaway if I do get rid of it. So anyway, thinning out the collection is kind of where we were at. So, man, this is smooth. I mean, I know that smoothness has a lot to do with the bearing. There was a big discussion over on Spin Space about one of the admins or moderators over there just kind of, you know, started a little discussion, you know, if something uses a one-drop bearing, can you call it smoother than, say, like a Trillium, which uses the one drop? And I think the question is really, when you're using another bearing from another manufacturer like that, you know, do you get to kind of claim the smoothness? You know, so it's a good thought, good question. Let's weigh this bad boy. Oh, wow, she's heavy. Look at that. 119. Is it really that heavy? It really is. Excuse me, burp. And I thought it was a good question, especially because, you know, we've been talking about the chakra a lot over on the Daily Fidget, which I need to do a more in-depth review of this guy. I've got some things to say after using this all week. So definitely have some things to say about that topic and that conversation. But it's a good one for thought. So I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are. You know, if you're using another well-known manufacturer's bearing. I mean, really, realistically, the only bearing we're talking about in this kind of conversation is a one drop. But if something uses a one drop, can it claim to be smoother than, say, like a Trillium? You know, because you're stealing, you know, I shouldn't say stealing, so it's a strong word, and I didn't mean it that way, but you're taking something that is being used and manufactured from someone else in your own spinner. Anyway, let's have a little more beer. All right. Hi, Jung. You just got a VC EDC little bar, quote unquote, stubby clone. I don't agree with that. I can see why people do, and everybody has their own opinion. But I think I just saw you posting that, so what do you think of it? How is it? Do you have a stubby as well? I'd love to know if you have a stubby and what your thoughts are on the two. You know, design-wise, looking at the two, that's an actually really interesting conversation, especially for kind of the market we're in, because there's a couple different variations of what I would call a clone. Yeah, I imagine they would feel very different from the look of it. It looks like the curves, because of the way the Triton's arms kind of curve back up on the edges, and the stubby looks like they stay pretty smooth. So we're up to 13 minutes on this guy, by the way, a little over 13, with a Spinetic stainless steel cage hybrid bearing. Seems to be the bearing I've gotten the best spin times with so far. But yeah, so let's talk kind of that clone conversation for a minute. So more so actually removes a huge variable. If the spin is smoother with the same bearing, it's definitely a smoother design. I agree. That's pretty much my thought. So spin wise, Triton is better, or the stubby is a bit better. So Speaking of Ergo, I've got an Ergo Alpha coming in too. I won a radioactive and spinetic, and I used the so all the giveaway winners got their free spinner, and then also got 30% off an order. And I just can't go spending a bajillion dollars, but getting 30% off a $60 spinner, I figured, let's do it. Let's do it. Same thing with this. This was 36% off for just like a couple days. Oh, she shines good too, doesn't she? Those brass weights kind of make a cool ring. What were we saying? We were talking clones. So there's a couple different versions of what I would consider a clone. One is you've got something really high end. So let's take a stubby, for example. You know, it's exclusive. It's hard. It's sort of hard to get, right? You can get them now, but they're expensive. And then you can have something like this. Yeah, I really want to get. I actually really want to get a loophole as the ring finger spinner type thing. I'd really like to try. That's that sort of like big try ring finger spinner. Is there a name for it? Like ring spin is the steel flame name, right? So is there a generic name for those finger type spinners? Anyway, I keep getting sidetracked and tangenting. So, but let's talk type 1 type of clone. One is you've got a cheap version of an existing form factor. These I have no problem with at all. A stubby is hundreds of dollars. They're selling out. They're not losing out on any sales. And these guys are selling an inferior product, albeit at a much cheaper price. And that's good, right? It gives somebody a chance to get something that otherwise wouldn't. So most people that are going to buy something like this, either one, are still also going to buy a stubby, or we're never going to buy a stubby to begin with. So stubby isn't, Rotoblade isn't losing any money with this sort of a clone, right? Then you've got clone type 2, which is, let's go to, yeah, well, I guess there's no real order. Clone type 2 is something like the Hyperstone. So Hyperstone makes a spinner that I think they're starting to make again, but they stopped making for a while. And then a company came along, bought a website, hyperstone.com, and basically tricked people into buying a spinner. They were selling it at the exact same price. Fabian over on Spin Space just did a review as well, and his thoughts are pretty good, but I'd like to add my 2 cents to it. And that's one where I really draw the line, because that's not just trying to clone the shape, but it's also kind of trying to clone the idea and trick people into buying something where they're thinking they're getting something legitimate. So that is literally straight up just stealing sales and being dishonest and disreputable, right? It's one thing to sell something on Amazon that's clearly not the original product, even though it looks exactly like it. Yeah, that's fraud. That's a good way to put it. You're defrauding people, right? It's not like buying a Gucci bag or something like that on the street for $16 that you know isn't real, that you know is just a Chinese knockoff or something like that. And that's when I really, really have a problem with. And then you've got this sort of like middle area, and I think it's a great conversation to have, and I think we need to have in the community, and that's something like what VC EDC just did with the you know, they're kind of 2-arm Triton, right? If you look at the form factor of this, if I went just like this, right, that does look an awful lot like the end of a stubby, but with some obvious, you know, different chamfers. So all they did was take that and put it on 2 sides and put a similar curve in the middle. Now, if you keep it the same as this, you're just basically looking at a straight design. That's why it had those curves in. So, you know, it's not trying to be something. It's just very similar. You know, when you think of all the shapes and the cuts that are out there, sure, to a degree, there's a lot of different design possibilities. But at the same time, there's a lot of designs that have already been done. So looking at something like this, right? This is clearly a form factor that is their own. There's no mistaking this as a Triton, right? There's no mistaking the mini Triton as using the same style but as a mini, right? So making a 2-arm version, I think that's fine. But I can also see, right, let's be honest with ourselves. We don't want to just be blind either side, right? That it does have a lot of styling to that, right? So are they entitled to make something that is clearly their own design, but is also very clear to another design? You know, it's a good question. So what about companies like Shamshad's Aeroship? I don't know enough. Is there another design that Aeroship really looks like? I think there is, but should we just spin this guy? We'll see how long this goes. That'll go for a while. It's 19 minutes right now. We'll spin this. I've seen that one. I don't know enough about what else that looks like. So, so we kind of did unboxing and then we tangented it off. There's only kind of so much you could say. I don't know if that really looks like the Delta Core. I think it's the same sort of thing where it maybe isn't its own, you know, they haven't established an existing design, but I don't think that looks enough like a Delta Core. There are some Delta Core clones, but again, they're not trying to impersonate, they're not trying to defraud people. Yeah, you can get in there pretty good, but just where you naturally grab it is much further out. But those arms are good for spinning. It's got a lot of mass though, so the flicks you really gotta work at it to get it out of there. Which I think that's why I don't like this particular flick as much, because I do like the weight of heavier spinners, and it's just a lot harder because you can't really preload this. No finger fatigue, please. I've been spinning this thing like all week trying to break in this bearing, so I've just been like whipping this thing around. You start spinning this thing a lot, or this guy here, right? This is a... Right, this was 202 grams when I got it. Even after sanding everything down, it's still 180 something grams, so it's still a beast. No finger fatigue. I got these, again, I have long spindly fingers, but they're strong. They do a lot of work. Those buttons came loose? Nope. The button grip on this is really good. Sorry about shaking it. I mean, it must be a laser etch of some sort, but it feels pretty raised. I imagine it will feel much like, you know, these buttons after a while, where the laser etch is still there a little bit, but you can't really feel it. Big shout out to Alan, getting his very dapper today. Really happy for you, bud. Very Dapper's a really good spinner. So, yeah, I don't know what else we can say. I like going live. I like chatting with people. I like the interaction. I don't know what else I got to say. Anybody got any questions? Anything you want to know? Anything you want to see? UPS just delivered. Oh, go get it. Go get it. Let me know what you think. Anybody that doesn't know or hasn't been following, right? This thing is starting to blow up a little bit. I'm seeing lots of posts and a lot of people talking about it. Right? It's a fantastic little spinner. It is, you know, unfortunate to see. It seems like there is a fair amount of quality control issues that he's having. You know, it doesn't seem to be across the board. It depends on what you're trying to do with it. So when I got mine, for example, the first one had that weight issue. But again, great guy, sorted it out. Yeah, I think I do. I think I need to get that. You know, he sorted that issue out, hooked me up with a second one, and then I got the second one, and the bearing was a little stuck in there, which I had to kind of... It was fine getting it out, but I virtually couldn't get it back in. I had to sand the inside of it down a little bit. And I haven't seen really many people having that issue. So it's not like it was as big of an issue as the first one. And then I think, oh, I'm not going to remember your name. It's like you've got your, like the 3 names, the first, middle, and last name. And I think you just got some good news about some potential cancer or cancer scare you had. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but he just got one of these, and this little C-clamp was pressing on the bearing a little, but he reached out to the guy and he's sending him a new one, and I don't know if it was an issue with the clamp. Can you bring the box in? I want to see those in person. Oh, the teacher. That must be Trevor. Yeah, I can bring this in. Trevor works with me. What up? Oh, see, I did it again. I'm always doing that on this. I'm putting these guys on backwards. It's a heavy box. Let me tell you, it's full of brass. So let's see what Randy thinks about that focus. So hopefully his is good and doesn't grind. It doesn't have any issues. I'm sad to kind of see that because I like this thing so much. This is such a good little spinner. Again, for 20 bucks, you can't beat it for 20 bucks. So I can't really fault anything with this for the price that it is, other than the fact, again, there's been some quality issues where some people are having some problems with them. But look at that little transparent mirror effect. It's so sweet. So unboxing it. Do it. You should do a live unboxing video on YouTube, and I can pull that up right here. Yeah, I'm gonna make you bored. I'm sorry. You don't even want to know how much I've spent on these things so far. It's not too bad, especially since I plan on getting rid of some of them as well. So, and doing giveaways and getting a lot of views on my channel. Love that stuff, by the way. I just looked, and you know, again, it's kind of a little bit of a personal satisfaction to see a lot of people liking it. Something I think like 17,000 views on my channel in the last month. You know, I think my Triton videos got the most views at like a little over 4,000, which is pretty cool. I want to do a second look at that. We're going to do something special for 1,000 subscribers. I got 1,000 or 809, so getting close to the 1,000 mark, which is pretty sweet. So Let's take a closer look at this. Sorry for shaking y'all. Let's take a closer look, see what we can see. See how the quality is on this. Isn't it sweet? Good, Randy, I'm glad. The caps are awesome, right? Like, so the caps, right, the caps on this Focus keeps stealing the show everywhere I go, man. Everybody's talking about this Focus. The cap, everything on this thing comes 100% off the machine, so these edges are actually, in theory, pretty sharp. And even if you rub, they don't really feel that sharp, and they just give really good grip. Yeah, there's no box, no tin. It's just in some plastic wrap in there. So, but look, I mean, I don't... Look at this. Look at this tin problem I'm getting. Well, I just hit some button. What button did I hit? Oh, for effects? Can we try this? No, not that. You guys seeing that? Having a little dance party, y'all. Dance party. Am I having too much fun here? In the beginning, there was the hammer of God. Yeah, I mean, if he really did up the packaging on that and really sold it, maybe did a tiny bit of hand finishing on it, which I don't think he's done. I think someone got a special one where he actually put like a mirror polish on it. This could be a $100 spinner. I honestly believe that. It's you know, it's 100% made in the U.S. You know, he dresses it up a little bit. You know, he could get away with that, I think, with it. Maybe not 100, maybe not 100. But again, it's so the finish is there, man. I think he steps that design up just a tiny bit. Maybe puts, I don't know exactly what it is. I'm no designer. I'd really have to look at it. Although, maybe I am a designer. I haven't seen anything that even kind of looks like this design. So maybe I am a designer, right? What do you guys think? Anyway. All right, let's turn the, let's go back to normal, sorry. Sorry, I accidentally hit the effects button and just was starting to have a little fun. So, yeah, hammer God. So this is a $60 spinner. I got it on the cheap, which is why I picked it up. Again, I wasn't planning on picking it up. I started to talk about that, got sidetracked. Wasn't planning on picking it up. But got too good of a deal on it, and you know, I like their stuff, and I like heavy spinners, and I got the feeling spinning this would feel like it does. You get your hands on enough spinners and you can start to look at them and get an idea of how you think they will feel. So it's a little heavier than I thought, but with the weight being so far on the outside, it doesn't affect the spin, especially that pull, right? If you like a flick spin, there's a lot of weight where there's a lot of resistance to really get it going. That's why I kind of like this push and pull spin. Anybody trying this, by the way? You getting that ring finger on the outside, not the inside, but on the outside, and doing some pulls? It's kind of oddly satisfying. I don't know. I like it. Again, I think it's my long, spindly spider fingers, but it's a fun spin. Or doing it with two, one on the outside, one on the inside, grabbing it like that. It's good. I want to try something too with this. I actually want to try doing a spin time, and then maybe taking some like plastic wrap or something and trying to cover this up so it doesn't have, I imagine that this is like, it's so not aerodynamic that really affects the spin time. Seeing what sort of difference we get if we kind of just cover this with some paper or plastic wrap or something, so you don't have, it can kind of cut through the air faster with less resistance. So I don't know how to comment on YouTube videos. You can comment on Facebook. I got it right up here. The Daily Fidget, y'all. If you're not on the Daily Fidget, get yourself on the Daily Fidget. Get yourself over on the Daily Fidget. You mind if I check my Facebook, y'all, real quick? All right. Yeah, I don't know how to comment on Facebook videos either on the live. I don't know if I've really done that much. So you just got your Tobacco Technology Spinnergy Spinner Rainbow. I don't know which one that is. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Hang on. That's the, it sort of looks like, wavy, not really like wave arms, but sort of like curved arms, right? I was thinking about getting one of those. I saw one up for sale, and I've decided like where my spinner collection is at. Like it's too much. I need to bring it back. So you're talking about this one, right? This is the one I was thinking anyway. Or no. I like the design of that. It looks like it would be really fidgetable, you know, and it looks kind of like, indeed. Yeah, I've got the, this guy coming in. So this one should arrive Wednesday with my radioactive X in purple that I won. Well, I won a radioactive in purple. I asked for or a radioactive I won. I asked for a purple X. We'll see what I get. So, but Spinetics pretty good. So, here's hoping. So, anywho, we'll get that out of the way. So, all right. Anybody else got anything to say? Go look at GLMC tech page. Excuse me. Is that on Spinetic or just... Oh, yeah, those are those Korean... Yeah, man, I don't know. It's the same sort of thing where, like... I really like the idea of the Triton just because I like the weight. I really like the Lotus wheel. Is there an actual page? Yeah, this is what I was looking for. I really like that, and I really like that. I think I would like that, but I think with the other tries and stuff that I got and knowing what I like, I would want something a little fuller. So either that, and I realize I don't really, this is the closest thing to a cog spinner that I have, which is so good. Woosah. Get on that Woosah Kickstarter if you guys are watching this. That Kickstarter ends in like, I think Sunday night. I think it's just a little bit left. It's right around $7,000 right now, $5,000 goal. You can get some of these on the cheap, so. What is Gary Simmons selling them for? I don't know how you properly pronounce the D at the end as opposed to two M's. I'm from Vermont. We don't pronounce our hard consonants all that well. We just kind of slur through them, Captain. It's Vermont, not Vermont. Although if you watch The Dark Knight, the old Joker, when he says, "No, I'm not." And then he really says that hard T. I don't know. I always love that line. I don't know why. Anyway, the Lotus wheel, I think, is the one I kind of like the idea of the most. Yeah, I don't know. I like them. I think they're sweet designs, especially the Triton. And you're seeing it here. Where's how thick it is? Does it have to have additional photos here? No. It's so thick, y'all. It's something like, look at that, 152 grams. It's pretty solid. It's heavier than this, but she's not heavier than this. Sorry. Yeah, that's not too bad on the focus. I think that's around what I got. I think I got just over 6. So, and they're pretty smooth bearings too. Like, I was impressed by how smooth they were. And again, they're the same bearings that, you know, if you can take it out, if you have the little C clamp thing, it's the same bearing that's in this one that I got from Heck. So. Yeah, these are really nice. He was selling this for $10 because they kind of messed up and didn't really get him what he was going for. So he kind of got a good deal from them, and then passed the savings on to you. But it's got a lot of weight. Let's weigh this. I actually haven't weighed this yet. It's got to be heavier than the Hammer of God. Not by too much. Let's say 125. Let's guess. Right, you guys know I'm bad at guessing this, the grams. 133, not too bad. Yeah, it does. I enjoyed carrying this around. I'm kind of sad. I've been trying to test a number of different bearings and spin times, and just got that chakra I really wanted to have on my hands, and kind of compare that to the Trillium and again spin. So like this just hasn't been able to make it into rotation. But it's my favorite bar for sure. I was gonna say probably, but absolutely is. Although I don't know which I like more. I think this one a little. Maybe I don't know. Should we force patina this one at some point? All right. I think what we'll do is we'll cut this at 40 minutes at the latest. So we got another 6 minutes. But if you watched Fabian's live stream he did last night, he was chatting about some Fidget HQ stuff, and the guy who runs that coming into back into spin space. Interesting topic, but he was spinning this guy a little bit, so kind of a little bit of a sneak peek. So hey, thanks for the love. Thanks for the love. Look at that very dapper you got there. I see your icon. I see you're very dapper, and I will raise you one brass Very dapper. I guess I gotta hold it down. I want to get it up so you can see it, but my light is there. How about that? How about that? How about that? All right, I think we'll probably actually leave it here, y'all. I don't got much else to say. I think what I'll do though is I'll probably do a back that brass up. After you back it up and stop and what, brass it like it's hot. That was Lil Wayne's debut joint. They'll back that ass up by I think it was actually Juvenile, but it was Cash Money Records back in, boy, what was that? Maybe early 2000s. I don't think it was in the 90s. I don't think it was late 90s. 2000, 2001 maybe. So yeah, I think we'll do a proper first look video of this that's much shorter format. So I don't know how many people are going to want to stick around for a 35-minute video of me just spinning spinners. But yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, and yeah, appreciate all the love on the channel. I just like chatting. Just like chatting to y'all. I get a kick out of it. Get over in the Daily Fidget. We like to chat over there. Although work's been busy. The last couple of weeks I've been like really light at work, and then all of a sudden I got really busy, so I can't just hammer on like Facebook and be posting and responding to things all day. So I try to keep that chat up and post topics and get some good conversations and thoughts going with the old spin fam over there. But look at this awkward angle. Give you carpal tunnel trying to spin like that, but. Oh, let's try some of those. Yeah, I've been really enjoying this too, especially on the, we'll get into that, but sneak peek on the chakra, just doing like real gentle, like, just tease it. Just, ooh, just a little bit, girl. Just like, just like that. Oh, you can see me in there. Hi, guys. What, focus? Can we focus there? Hi. Hi, guys. It's so smooth. It's really nice bearing in there. I'm definitely going to have to test this bearing out. Yeah, if you want to get a Woosah and you're not in a rush, just get into the Kickstarter. That's the easiest way to do it. You can get the Elites for $10 off. I believe if you back anything, you're going to have an option to get a chakra. And with, again, don't quote me on that. I meant to actually try to reach out to him so I could try to maybe confirm that in any of my videos or when I'm mentioning that. But I believe if you back the Kickstarter, you'll get an option to to order a chakra with it as well. And obviously you'd have to add some more money to that. But that's a $90 spinner that, you know, he gave kind of the first run in the Daily Fidget kind of exclusive for 70 bucks. So Kickstarter works by basically a company says, hey, I've got this idea, you give me money, and then I'll use that money to make that idea real. That's the idea of Kickstarter. A lot of companies are already making the products and use it kind of to and I think this is kind of what Woosah is doing. They use that to get capital. So when you're trying to increase or expand, you have to buy either more equipment, more machines, more raw material, right? So if I'm selling spinners at $50 a pop and it cost me $25 to make them, and then all of a sudden I want to do some new design and it's going to cost me, you know, $5,000, $10,000 or whatever in terms of getting everything, all that set up. That's a lot of money that I either need to get a loan out for and pay interest or do this. So Kickstarter kind of lets people get in. You know, Kickstarter certainly takes a %, but then basically once the Kickstarter ends, whoever was, you know, whatever the deal was, they back or honor that, right? You see that for video games and stuff a lot too, where rather than trying to get the money to make the game up front, they get people to buy the game before it's made. So basically when the Kickstarter ends, you then get charged. And then depending on what software and what form they're using, they'll reach out to you to kind of confirm what you want. So the way the Woosah Kickstarter was initially set up was you buy a spinner and then they pick which spinner from that line they send you, but I believe he's going to be sending out a survey and not necessarily guaranteeing it, but basically trying to get everybody what they want. So, and they've been reaching out and doing surveys ahead of time to try and make sure that they're making enough of what people are looking to have so that they can send that out. So the Kickstarter ends, you get charged on that day. They then reach out, depending on what they're using. You can then up your pledge after the fact if you're already in it and send them a little bit more money and then get something extra like a, you know, a chakra and maybe get a deal on it. Again, I don't know, but and then even without a deal, that chakra is probably worth it. It's, you know, it's literally exactly half of a Trillium and smoother, straight up. So yeah, and then they'll send you your stuff. So get on the Kickstarter. You do have to sign up. I think it uses partially through Amazon. So if you've got an Amazon account, I think you're already set up. So yeah, So I was going to end it, and now we're still going to end it at 40. So we got 10 seconds to go, so I'm going to leave you like I always do, right? How do we leave this? We leave it with a peace.